How often do you punish yourself for what you didn't do instead of focusing on what you still can do? In the last episode, I spoke about how you may regret not starting sooner, but you definitely will regret not starting at all. And that's what we're still focusing on this episode. I'm asking you, are you punishing yourself for what you didn't do? Welcome back to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. I'm Sanj, and I'm here to help you get out of the monotony and the routine that you're currently in, where you're waking up and you're feeling lethargic, and you're ready to shift that over to wake up feeling excited, enthusiastic, and energized every single day. Here's another question. How many times have you stayed awake at night replaying the things you wish you'd done differently? The conversations you never had, the risks you didn't take, or just even the opportunities you let slip by. Regret at the end of the day is a heavy burden to carry, isn't it? But the thing is, regret doesn't come from failing, it comes from never trying. So Nelson Mandela said, "May your choice reflect your hopes, not your fears." So think about that for a minute. Your choices that you make, make sure that they reflect what you hope for in life. Don't make your choices based on what you fear. At the end of this episode, or by the end of this episode, you'll know things such as why regret is so destructive, how you can shift your mindset from self-punishment to self-compassion, and I'll, as always, give you some actionable strategies to stop punishing yourself with regret and start creating a life that you truly desire. This one may hit close to home, but in the best possible way. So regret is one of the most painful emotions that we can experience, but it's so common. How many times have you regretted something? I know I have. I know I've regretted opportunities I missed when I haven't followed through with things that I would have wanted to do, whether that have been taking action when it came to new experiences. But now I'm past that. Now I actually try my best to make sure that I don't feel as much regret. Why I try to make the most of opportunities, because regret comes from that one place, those missed opportunities. Think about it, that you didn't take that job because you were afraid of failing. You were afraid that you weren't right for that position, and you thought that if you failed, what would all those people around you say? You didn't call your dad to patch things up, and now you feel that the relationship is distant. Maybe you had an idea for a business, but you just convinced yourself it wasn't the right time. Most regrets are not about what you did, they're about what you didn't do. So think about how many times you've had that inaction and you now look back and regret it. Now, this is actually especially true for men, because we're often told to tough it out, to suppress our feelings and push forward no matter what. Can you relate to that? But what happens when you bottle that regret? It ends up festering. It does nothing for you. It turns into frustration, anger, sometimes even hopelessness. When you're out of, it can even manifest as disease, because when you're constantly regretting things and you're putting that stress, that negativity within your body, it can actually manifest itself in disease. But the good news is regret is also an amazing teacher. It's actually a signal that something needs to change. So what do you think that you need to learn from that regret? What are you regretting right now which you need to learn from? What is the lesson it's teaching you, and what is the outcome? What is the action you're going to take because of it? Because there's a voice in your head that's always saying, it's too late. If you missed an opportunity, you may be telling yourself it's too late. But as I said in the last episode, it's not too late. Yeah, sure, you may regret starting earlier. Maybe you're actually going to sit there and you're going to be like, oh, I could have been on level 10 by now, but I'm still only on level 1. You'll be feeling like you should have been further along in your journey. Yeah, maybe you should have been further along in your career, or maybe that your kids deserve more of your time when they were younger. But the fact of the matter is even if you hadn't changed anything, starting now is still a million times better than not starting at all. Because, yeah, you may not be at level 10, but action creates progress. So you may not be at level 10 now, but at least when you start taking action, you've got the opportunity to be at level 10. If you don't take the action, you'll never be at level 10. You'll never get there. But it's only with the action you take will you have the opportunity to get to where you want to get to. And as I said in the last episode, the amount of regret you feel actually shrinks with the amount of effort you put in. So when you're taking action, even late action, you're going to feel significantly less regret than if you were sat there stuck in inaction, still stuck there, sat on the sofa watching Netflix, rather than going out there and taking action and controlling your life to create the one you desire. So just a personal story for me was I worked with a guy in his 50s and he really regretted not prioritizing his health earlier. He felt like it was too late. But then one day he decided to. We were just chatting and he said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And within 6 months, he felt 10 years younger. He had more energy for his family. He even inspired his kids and his wife to join him on the journey, and they made it into a family thing. They used to do yoga nights in front of YouTube. They used to actually go for long walks and actually started having active holidays. The takeaway from it is the past is actually a lesson. It's not a life sentence. So you can start now. You can start taking action. You can stop yourself thinking and get yourself out of that fixed mindset that it's too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. So if you want to actually start taking action, here are some ways in which you can start. 1, the 5-minute action rule. Regret thrives in inaction, as I've said. So when you're stuck, just commit to taking action for 5 minutes. So you want to reconnect with someone? Write them a text. You want to think about starting a side hustle? Maybe spend 5 minutes brainstorming ideas. Why 5 minutes? Because it's small enough to beat procrastination. It's so tiny, it actually seems like nothing. But actually, it creates momentum. When you do it 5 minutes a day, it starts to build up. And then the more action you take, the more momentum you're going to build. The more momentum you build, the more motivation you're going to have. So when you actually start to take those small steps, no matter right now, you're probably thinking 5 minutes may not do anything. But actually, at the end of the week, that 35 minutes is better than nothing at all. And what you'll find is over time, even though it's 5 minutes today, over time, you'll probably increase it. You'll probably start to increase it, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Before you know it, you'll be 30 minutes a day. And so 3.5 hours later, each week, you're well on your journey. The next thing is to start a wins journal. Regret makes you focus on what you didn't do. So help yourself shift out of that perspective by tracking your wins. Big, small wins, any win you have every single day. Like it could be such thing as, you know what, I've sent those emails that I've been avoiding, or I've worked through them. Or maybe I spent 15 minutes playing with my kids instead of scrolling on my phone. And what you'll notice is at the end of the week, you'll see progress. You'll not see perfection. Don't expect to see perfection, because if you're expecting that, you're actually going to be more likely to do nothing, because that perfection can cause inaction and procrastination. But if you see the progress, that will build your confidence. And then the final way you can do this is maybe ask yourself the what if question. Before you decide not to act, ask yourself, what if I take this step and it works out? What if I try and surprise myself? So last episode I spoke about the rule of regret, where you say, will I regret this a year from now? This question actually helps you focus on the positive, the possibilities. It helps shift your focus from the fear to possibilities, and it's often the push that you need to actually start to take action. When you ask yourself, what if, there's no limit in your life with that question. There's no limit. You can dream the biggest dream when you ask yourself that question. And hopefully that'll excite you, that'll get you energized to start taking action. So when you're thinking about regret, realize that actually regret isn't failure, it's feedback. And this is something that most people get wrong. Regret doesn't mean you failed, it's actually feedback. It's like life's way of saying, hey, there's still time to get this right. So instead of beating yourself up, use regret as fuel to make better choices today. Remember, perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. So what's one thing you've been punishing yourself with regret for? What's one thing you haven't done that you're constantly punishing yourself with? Maybe it's sending a text, applying for the job, carving out 10 minutes for yourself. Whatever it is, take the first step. The best way to predict your future is to create it. There's a quote by Abraham Lincoln, and it's so true. Don't let regret hold you back. Take one step today and see how your life begins to change. So thank you for joining me on another episode of Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. I really hope you got something from this episode. And if you did, please leave me a rating or a review. And if you know someone who may actually get something from this episode, please share it with them. My mission is to actually impact the world in the most positive way I can. So if you could help me do that, I would be so appreciative. So until next time, remember, regret is not failure, it's feedback. Stop punishing yourself with it. Shift your mindset from one where regret is something that you realize you need to change. You need to actually take action on where you weren't taking action before. When you master that mindset shift, when you master your mindset, you'll master your life. Thank you.